A visitor. Welcome, stranger. I'm making a video on the Canon FTQL. I used to see those real often. They were probably half my work back in the 70s and 80s, but I don't see them much anymore. A customer dropped one off last week, told me to go through it, and I have. I've replaced the foam seals, lubricated it, cleaned it up, made some adjustments. It's at the halfway point, and I need to reassemble it, but before I do that, I wanted to make a video, one of the videos I call a vlog journey, which basically is just taking a viewer through the camera and pointing out the different parts, explaining how things work sometimes. And maybe you own one or did own one, or maybe you're thinking about buying one. And this will kind of show you what's inside the camera. So, vlog journey. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with the top cover, which is what I usually do. As you can see here, the top cover on this is it's near mint. There's no dings in it anywhere. Switch cameras here. There's no dings along the edge here or over here. The shoe camera hasn't been dropped. This is still flat. This is not what you'd call a hot shoe because there's no center post to fire the flash with. On this particular type flash, it's a clip. You put your flash there, but you connect a small cord to the front of your camera to a PC connector. Same way here on the front. No dings along the edge. Here. And there's no dings on the top. It's really a pleasure to see a camera like this at such good condition. Either the customer took care of it and he's owned it all his life, or possibly he bought it on eBay and it was what they call mint, which is the best type of camera to get on eBay. They cost more, of course, but they're in good condition like this one. When I say in good condition, it wasn't in good condition inside, of course. There was a lot of loose foam and dirt and some corrosion, but on the outside, it was really in good shape. What does that say over there? Let's see here. Canon Camera Company. I think this, I don't know for sure, somebody else would have to look it up, but I think that when they marketed these, it was Bell & Howell and Canon together, but I'd have to go look that up. When Canon first started marketing cameras, they had, I don't know what type of arrangement with Bell & Howell, but quite often when you see the cameras, that Bell & Howell would be listed also. Okay, let's move along. Okay, the next thing we're going to be looking at is the base plate. I do occasionally have people in the comments that say that it's a waste of time, but it's actually not. The base plate is the history of the camera, or where it's written. If a base plate has had a lot of wear or been misused, since the camera sits on top of the base plate will be scratched up or have bumps in it, dings. And so if you look at the base plate, you're really looking at the history of the camera. I see a little bit of wear right here. It's kind of shiny right here. So it's not mint, but it's near mint. Since there is some wear here, that possibly the customer kept it in a case, which is fine. If a customer keeps his camera in a case, it means he's still taking care of it. I personally, when I was photographing, before I was a repairman, did not use cases because the picture, it takes a little bit of time to set up a film camera. You can't just point it and shoot like you can a digital camera. And if it's in a case, by the time you pull it out of the case and set it up and the picture's gone. So A film camera is not like a digital camera. You've got to get it up and set it up quick and take your picture before it gets away from you. So I didn't use a case. Of course, it devaluates the camera because I did scratch out the base plate, and I'm sure I got some dings in it, but it was necessary to get some good pictures. And in case you're wondering, no, I don't shoot pictures anymore. I did shoot pictures and got a degree in photography and et cetera, up until I started repairing cameras, and then I had to give it up. I just didn't have time for it. Okay, the next thing we're going to be looking at is the film door. If you've watched any of my prior videos, you'll know that I always inspect the film door because it tells the history of the camera. Like this pressure plate here, if a lot of film had been shot through it, there would be streaks going the same direction as the film. If it had a lot of film shot through it, there'd even be metal showing. But as you can see, this pressure plate is pristine. So that means that the customer just brought it out probably to take some pictures, maybe at a birthday party or Christmas. The rest of the year he didn't use it, he just put it away. And that's why that pressure plate looks new, really. This right here is directions on how to load the film on the camera. This camera, I think, was made in the early 60s, and back at that time, you had to pull the leader out of your canister and insert it into a spool here, and then advance it and close the back to load your film, which wasn't all that much trouble, but Canon made this little, I don't even know what it's called, a gadget, a plate, and you would fold it over on top of the film and advance it, and it would do all that automatically for you. Save you a little trouble, or maybe if somebody that wasn't mechanically minded would like something like this, so they didn't have to worry about it. They just flipped that over on top of the film, advanced it, closed the back, and they were ready to go. Anyway, the rest of the camera, as you can see, there's no rust, there's no stains, relatively, compared to, the age. And the paint's all here. You always want to check the latch. A camera that's had a lot of wear, the paint will be gone, and it'll be down to bare metal. Same way in this end here. The rust always shows up, if there's going to be some, here at the latch. Drawing a blank here. At the hinge, there we go, finally got it. At the hinge here, there'll be some rust if this camera's seen a lot of use or has been misused. And you can see the leather is in good shape. It's not coming off, it's not frayed, it's not worn. Leather looks almost new itself. Excellent shape. This camera, I would call it near mint, not mint, but near mint. And this film door is in excellent shape. And so if you're at a camera show and you're looking for a camera, any camera, you always want to check your film door and see what kind of shape it's in, and check the base plate, of course. All right, let's put that aside and let's move on. This is the mirror cage. Get here on a block of wood, get a little bit closer. The mirror on this camera was in very good shape. So many of the mirrors are, the coating on them is going bad. But on these early cameras, they were made better, and they spent more money in making them better. It was only in the later years that they started cutting corners and using cheaper materials. The screen up in here, I was really worried. I was afraid it would be scratched or damaged in some way and I'd have to replace it, but it was in good shape. Whoever owned the camera didn't touch the screen. It's always best to use air to clean your screen and not touch it. Anytime you touch the screen, you take a chance of damaging it. So anyway, we've got PC connector. This camera doesn't have a hot shoe, so the cord comes down and plugs in right here. This lever here locks the mirror up. Say you were taking pictures night astronomy, you'd want to lock up this mirror so that if you were taking like a half-hour or 1-hour exposure, the camera wouldn't shake. This over here, most of it's missing, but this is your self-timer. And flip this over. This mirror cage is, if you'll notice, or maybe you don't notice since you don't repair, is very Spartan. There's very little on it in the way of levers. The early cameras, and this was early 60s, didn't have much on the mirror cage. A few levers, but in later years they loaded up the mirror cage and put a lot of stuff on them. But on the early cameras they did not. Let's see here if I can mess up. Move this over here. Okay. You see the mirror flipped up. And to flip it down, it's this lever here. Does it go back or forward? I forget. I don't remember. There we go. Goes back toward the camera and flips down. Everything again is in excellent shape. Well, get some light on it here. This is not coming apart. I've seen cameras where the material they used back here, felt or paint, was coming off. These early cameras are made much better than the later models, which is, you know, right after 60s, early 60s, was not that long ago from the 50s when they made things out of metal, no plastic, and they always used the top-notch materials. Things were made to last is what I guess what I'm trying to say. So they used your best materials. Consumerism hasn't set in yet to where they would just throw things away. Up here at the top, I wasn't particularly worried. The screen down here can get damaged real easy. I'm always worried about those when I take in a camera. But up here on top, the prism protects the, I'm having trouble here. The prism protects this glass, so I wasn't worried. But it did need to be cleaned. A glass fogs up over years, and you won't notice it looking through the viewfinder, but they get kind of looks like looking at a foggy scene, and you go in and you clean this glass, it fogs up. Okay. There's a photocell right here is how you get your exposure. And these are the wires here. These two black wires go from the photocell over to the, I won't even call it a circuit board, just a board that you solder into. This doesn't really have a circuit board like cameras had in later years. And that's what I like about the Canon FT, is they're bulletproof. All steel, very little or no plastic. Once one's going, it'll go forever, and if the battery goes out, no problem, just keep shooting. Any photographer who's worth the salt knows how to set exposure for daytime or evenings, dim light, and also that photographer will do what we call bracketing. If you're not sure, you shoot underexposed pictures and overexposed and dead on, just to make sure you got your picture. If it's important enough to take pictures of, it's important enough to bracket. Okay, what else do we have here? The mirror cage I was just showing you, we don't need that, that's just a cover. This is the prism. that went in there. I don't know why they cut that window in there. In the later cameras, they didn't do that. And there was foam on here, and it damaged this mirror coating right here on both sides. And I'll probably end up having to replace this prism in here. Foam, for some reason, interacts with the coating on these prisms and eventually causes damage. The Olympus is real bad about that. I don't know, can we see it there? Yeah, there it is. You can see there where the foam has destroyed the mirror coating right there, which means I'm going to have to replace this. Okay, what else do we have here? This right here is what the prism sits in. I guess you could call it a bracket or a cradle. It bolts down and the prism sits in there, and then a cover goes across the top of the prism and holds it in place. These older cameras had more parts that had to be separated from the camera. This right here is the self-timer. You can see there's a lot of parts to it to put it back. It also would stop down the lens if you pushed it. I think it was left. If you pushed it left, yeah, you can see the indent here in this control handle here, this control knob, I guess you'd call it, lever. You would push it this way, stop down your lens, release it, lens would open back up. And then of course this was also a self-timer. Okay, that's about enough about the mirror cage for the FTQL. Let's move on. Okay, now we're going to get down to the last thing to look at, the body. And on this particular camera, there's a lot to the body, because the cameras back then didn't have much mechanical parts on the mirror cage. Most of them were located in the body. And so let's start exploring. This down here was the timer for the low speeds, say from 1/30th of a second to 1 second. And let's see if we can get closer in here. There we go. Sony will cooperate. This timer here is a timer like you might have in a pocket watch. And when you set this camera for 1/30th of a second, things changed. And these gears are what timed out your exposure. Very crude, but very effective. This is not going to wear out. It's not like a digital or even a electronic camera later that the electronics go out. What are you going to do? Well, with this one, you can just go get another movement and put it in there. You can see them there. When I took it apart, of course, I had to clean it first, but I put oil here, here, and here. And the same way here at the bottom. I had to put oil here, here, and over here. And a few other places. And then got my air gun and blew the excess oil out, and now it's working. And let's see. I don't know if I can show this or not here. Try without getting in the way of things. No, that's not going to work. Maybe here. There we go. If you'll look, you can see the movement down here as it moves. Look down there. Here we go. See that? Right here. See it move? Let's try again. There we go. The way a camera works, probably you already know, but for those that you don't, this is the closing curtain here on this side, and over here is the opening curtain. You can see they're separated by this little bar here. Normally it's cloth covered with rubber, and then it's got these ties here and here, and the opening curtain, I'm gonna have trouble with the light here, is down here, and the closing curtain is this roller here. The mirror goes up, this opening curtain opens, goes all the way across, then this timer here times out the picture, let's say 1/30th of a second. It reads off or does this thing, and a 1/30th of a second later it releases this closing curtain. Then the closing curtain goes across and the exposure stops. But it's not ended. When it goes across, it trips the mirror cage and drops the mirror back down. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The mirror goes up, opening curtain opens, closing curtain closes, mirror goes down. That's all there is to it, really. It's the cycle. It's very simple. Bring that across. And let's see here. Trip that. And I purposely have locked it open. The opening curtain is here on this side. Closing curtain, I have not released it. It's here. And this is just a business card that I put across the shutter to protect it when I'm working on the camera. And if I press this here, it closes. How cool is that? Digital cameras are boring compared to a piece of machinery like this. This is like, it's like working on your car, but it's miniaturized. And this big thing over here is your self-timer. In fact, see the gears there. Self-timers back at that time were huge. I don't know why they made them so large, but they were big. And they kept using them for years and years. Finally went electronic, which it was sad to see, but self-timers also had to be cleaned because sometimes they get dirty also. And so what else do we have here to look at? Your fast speeds from 60th to 1000 or 1000 to 60 are controlled here in these cams. They're moving so fast that a timer like this can't do a 60th of a second, or if it can, they don't make them that way. For your faster speeds, which you're getting into milliseconds, are done up here with cams. Cams I can't really explain except to say they're not round, and a little lever presses against the cam, and as the cam goes around, when it gets to like a 2/50th of a second, it releases the closing curtain. And that's about the best way I can explain it at this time. I suppose you could Google it and see how it works. But it was never important to me as a camera repairman. All I had to do was check it and make sure it was working right. But so you had two timing systems. You had your fast speeds up here, your slow speeds down here. And let's see. Look at the back here. Look down some more gears. This is a brake here. If you look, you'll see, I don't know if you can see, oh yeah, there we go. Catch the light on it. Right there is a piece of felt that rubs against this metal clip right here. Terrible system, but it's for keeping the shutter from bouncing. When a shutter is moving across, say the closing curtain is moving across in milliseconds, and normally a curtain on a camera like this would be set at probably about 12 milliseconds. That is, would go from one side to the other, and when it would hit, it would bounce. Not much, But what you would get then on your cameras, you'd get a double exposure because the edge of the film here was exposed twice. It was exposed the first time, and when the shutter bounced back and then closed again, it was exposed a second time. So when you got your pictures back from the processor, you had this bright strip down the side here. And when that happened, I knew that this brake was not working, and I had to work on it for different ways of fixing it. It was a terrible system. Each camera company had their own way of dealing with brakes on cameras, and it was not a big problem, but it was a problem. Lock that back again. Like I said, normally about 12 milliseconds to go across. And they do bounce. What else can I show you here? Ah, yes, right here. I don't know if we can see those or not. Right now, you see those bearings in there. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Always got to catch the light on the part so you can see. See those little ball bearings? Same over here, ball bearings. The only two cameras that I knew of that used ball bearings back at the time were Nikon and Canons. I don't remember seeing any ball bearings in Minoltas, or Olympus or Konicas. They may have used some, I just don't remember. I think, I was trying to remember maybe on the Maxims they did, but I don't remember now. But I do remember, the Canon and Nikon used them, which extended the life a lot. On this side, there are all no ball bearings on this over here, just a shaft. And let's see down here. No ball bearings that I can see. At here or here. And no ball bearings here either. Just at the top. I've got a lens that'll get in closer. Let's see if I can get in closer and get a better shot. I bought this when I was setting up the shop to take videos. I thought I would die if I didn't have this particular lens. It's a 50 millimeter for the Sony. It's a macro. And after I bought it, I don't know if hate's the word I want to use, but I didn't much like it. I use my other one much more, but I put it in on the camera this time just so you can see the bearings up close that Canon used, and which also Nikon uses also. And let's see over here if we can see the bearings or not. Yeah, there we go. You can see there on the left the second gear, and you can see the bearings into that. And that's what I bought this lens for, was for close-up. But I found out real quick that it didn't focus too well, and that when you're this close in, everything shakes. So, okay, I'm back to my other lens. I think this is a 30 millimeter, if I'm not mistaken, where the other was a 50. I may be off a few millimeters, but basically. And you can see the bearings again. If you buy a macro lens, I suggest you don't buy the 50, because that is really not a very good lens. Okay, what else have we not covered? We've covered the shutter, we've covered the bearings, we've covered speeds. I guess the base here is the only thing we haven't covered. Well, let's move our camera here, because a while ago I moved it to there we go, and get some light on this. Okay, these shafts, some of them go to the top, and then the top they come down to the bottom. Those gears there, of course, if they're that yellow, they're brass. If they're not brass or steel. They use steel gears where there's more torque. Where there's less torque, they use brass since it's easier to mill and make, cheaper to make, I should say. And then some levers. Nothing really special here. Just wanted to show you what was in the bottom. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. I probably have forgotten something, but that's basically the more than enough. Maybe more than you want to know. And that's the body. And that's pretty much the end of the journey, the tour through the FT. Time to wrap it up and call it a day. Okay, that is about it. Get this around here. I talk too much on the QL body. There was a lot to look at, a lot of interesting things, more so than other cameras, and I dread looking when I'm an editor to see how long I talked on that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the tour, the Canon FT QL. And all its parts in the body, and I hope I explained a little bit about shutters and how they work as far as opening, closing curtain, mirror, and the bearings in the camera, and the fact that it was not it was, I guess you'd say, a consumer model, but it was not made disposable. That cameras, that was an early 60s camera that was made to last several centuries, and that's the reason they made it so well. It was not an extremely accurate camera as far as shutter speeds and meter. Some of the other cameras that came later were much better at that. But considering that you're shooting analog film camera, and it was okay if it wasn't exactly on the money, it would still give you excellent pictures. And I would rather have a camera that is made sturdy and made to last, and it was not exactly on the money as far as shutter speeds, and have one that was dead on. But let's say it was electronic and the electronics were going to quit, well, the camera was just dead. Where are you going to get new electronics for a camera that old? So I'm rambling again, sorry. Anyway, that's the end of the tour. Hope you enjoyed it. What do I call it? Vlog tour, log journey. And anyway, next time.